Start. And we're going to be able to see that right soon in a second here. Goes okay. Okay, guys, we're going to be talking with Daniel Alvarado today regarding the Push Fitness podcast, but we're going to be discussing specifically a very important topic that is very important to so many people: weight loss. Weight loss is a very complex subject matter, but one of the things wanted to discuss with Danny specifically, and we're going to share today a lot about weight loss and the complications and even get into some metabolic issues, is the reasons for weight loss and the points of weight loss. Daniel, how are you doing, bud?
Great, thank you.
Hey, bud. Hey, I got a question for you. This weight loss program, when did you first start it here at Push? How long ago did you start it?
It's been over 6 years that we've started it. We initially got a lot of people that just wanted to be fit, but then we started getting a lot more. I started noticing that we are demographic. I want to reach a bigger demographic, and that meant more to people that more in the obesity range type, 2 or 3 obese people that usually aren't willing to go to bigger gyms or global gyms because they feel awkward, they feel a little embarrassed, things like that. So I saw a need for that, and I wanted to kind of capture that need and try to fulfill it as best as I could. So that's when initially I started moving towards that route to reach a bigger, broader audience.
What do you think when you talk about the emotional components of people and when they're concerned about the environments that they work in? What's different? I can tell you what's different because I know because I've been here and I've lived in this gym for a long time. But tell me, what is it that you strive to have the people feel when they're here, when they first come to see you and all that, in that connection with weight loss?
A sense of achievement, a sense of accomplishment, a sense of I can when they've maybe told themselves or others have told them that they can't, that they're too far off, their goals are unattainable because a lot of people, some people do have 100, 200 pounds to lose, and that is, I guess if you had to compare it, it's like saying, I want to save for $1 million.
Right.
Well, that's kind of how it is. It's a huge number. And that's how I think people can relate to if you're 300 pounds of losing 100 pounds. It's hard. It's hard to see beyond what you see in the mirror. And plus, it's hard to see beyond seeing that every single day. Usually it takes about, for a somewhat semi-average person, about 6 weeks to see some results. If they can get over that hump, then that's when they see the biggest changes. For a lot of other bigger people, it takes a little bit longer. It can take up to 3 months. So imagine 3 months of seeing the same person and the same thing without not seeing a lot of results. That can be discouraging, unmotivating, so to speak.
There's a point when someone, I happen to be privy to sometimes communications as they come through because people look for me to see how to get to you. But the oddity is that these individuals that need the weight loss, if you notice, they trigger a lot in the AM hours, early morning hours when they're just fed up. What do you think it is that makes them say, you know what, enough, I need help? And from what the patients or the clients, your clients have shared with you, what is it that made them come in? What was that moment that tricked?
There's a numerous amount of examples. I've gotten to the point where, like, I've had a person say, I can't tie my shoes. I've had a person say, I can't go up a flight of stairs without losing my breath. I've gotten a person say that I've gotten, kind of stuck in the car. I've seen a person that people have laughed at them from getting off of the sofa and they've had to kind of like wiggle or rock themselves up. It's a numerous amount of things that goes on. The list goes on and on, but each person has their own story to tell, so to speak, their own reason for coming in. Some people come in because they've always been told by the significant other that they were not good enough or they're not this or that, and they want to do it for themselves. And that's probably one of the best reasons is why you want to change your lifestyle. Is for yourself, and that should always be the first and foremost reason, because social medias will come and go. People liking, not liking your pictures will come and go. But what you tell yourself and how you feel yourself about yourself every single day, that's the most important factor, because there are going to be times where you're going to have to encourage yourself. There's not going to be people around you applauding you, telling you can do this or things like that. There's going to be times where you have to write things down and say, I can encourage myself because I want to be in a better place for myself, for my kids, or for my family. And that reason for going forward has to be bigger than all the other not obvious reasons.
The individuals you have working here, along with your close knit team, they follow your philosophy, and they really make people feel comfortable. I send my clients and my patients to you to help with the rehab component, and I got to tell you, they all feel so welcome, man. I got to tell you, thank you for doing that, because it makes a big difference. It really, really does. Because I have never heard anyone say, because it's a scary moment when you go to a box, when you go to a place that you're not used to. Am I going to be judged? What are the kind of things you do to make people feel comfortable in this place, in terms of like, kind of like onboarding, or kind of when they get on, kind of like that?
I guess trying to learn a little bit more about them, what they do for a living, their personal life, their family, kids, married, not married, where they went to school, their childhood, whether they have a father or mother, a broken family, a good family. And a lot of things play into effect of, because you're asking them beyond of just what you initially see. You come in, you see them for an hour, you don't see them 23 hours of the day. So you have to trust that they're going to trust you enough to make the best decisions when you're not around them, to eat the right foods, to eat the best, to make the most conscious decisions. So you try to instill that relationship with them, just how I guess how you would with a best friend or a girlfriend, fiance, wife. You establish trust so that even when you're not around, they're respecting what you're asking of them.
Yeah. When someone kind of backslides, or kind of makes a bad decision, or maybe for a little window of time, even for a week, they lose control. What do you talk to them about in terms of, like, to assure them that that not only is that a process to get through, but it's natural, and what do you do? What do you tell them when they kind of like go maybe south in the plan, so to speak?
Just to not give up. There's setbacks in every aspect in life, but if every single one of us gave up when there was a setback, then there wouldn't be anything new. There wouldn't be new businesses, new technology, new ways of doing things. There's always that resilient factor of understanding to push through when things get bad, and things are always gonna get bad. That's what makes things the best. I mean, any and everything. The most innovative minds are, innovative ideas are created through adverse conditions, because you're forced to, either in blunt terms, die, or figure out a way of evolving and getting out. A butterfly can die in a cocoon, or they can evolve and flourish into a butterfly and fly away. But there is a conscious choice of how you will survive and how you will adapt to this world and this environment.
That's very poignant. We all are human, and I guess having the permission to be kind to yourself, to be okay with yourself, to make some bad decisions. I got to tell you, on a personal note, man, sometimes I do heavy workouts, and myself specifically, I know darn well when I do legs, man, I go home and I can't stop eating. And if I got that arroz con pollo, man, I go crazy in that stuff. You're going to talk about today a little bit about the 3 points of weight loss. Tell me what your idea is of a 3-point weight loss system.
Well, I think first the reason why you want to change is, why you want to lose weight or change is the reason why. Why you're doing it. Is it just to better your health? Is it just to get from point A to point B? Is it just because you're tired of buying new clothes and having to throw old clothes because they don't fit anymore? Is it because you have a knee injury, a lower back injury, because you threw your back out, because you want to play more with your kids? The reason why is the initial reason to start. And it's got to be a greater reason than just I just want to look good for this person or that, because that's very short lived. There's got to be a bigger reason, an ultimate reason as to why you want to do the reason, why you want to lose weight or why you want to change. If I'm saving money, I'm just saving money just to save money. To me, might be a little fickle, but if I'm saving money to buy a house or to buy a car because I don't have one or things like that, those are concrete, lasting goals because you have something attainable to shoot for. Go ahead.
No. I was just so the I guess the mental preparation is required. I guess when you say I'm going to lose weight, or any change in life, any new redirect of life, you have to have a plan.
Right.
So when you were mentioning that, some people that I see, they suffer from a lot of disorders, and one of the very common ones that we discuss in a different show is metabolic syndrome. When people are just fed up, they feel sick.
Mm-hmm.
They have high blood pressure, high blood sugar, their cholesterol is high, their triglycerides are high. They just feel cruddy.
Right.
So that's one component. But before that happens, there has to be some mental preparation. And how do you go about kind of mentally preparing them when they say, you know what, it's going to get hard, it's going to be intense, and as they get go through the process, what do you what do you give them to anticipate?
Helping them understand that they're a little bit more mature in life and understand that they can't do the same things that they used to do when they were 20, 24, 28, or things like that. I have a lot of people that say, I only eat a hard-boiled egg for lunch and then nothing for the morning and then nothing at night. Well, that you can't get away with that when you're older because your body's demanding more. Your metabolic rate is decreasing, so it's going to tell your mind that you're not eating enough and you don't have enough to survive, so it's going to store more fat. Mm-hmm. So what worked when you're 15, 16, 17, you can live off of water and a candy bar is very different because physiological changes in the body keep you from losing that weight as you once did before. And you have to come to reality that everything in life changes from the time you're 5, 10, 15, 18, 21, when you're 14, not everybody was required to pay a rent or work 9 to 5 or things like that. But what happens now at 34, 35, if you don't do that? I mean, you're living at home with your mom, mm-hmm. or, so things change. You have to understand that if things change in the real world, things got to change in the physiological world as well. And coming into terms with that is going to be more susceptible of you reaching your goals than you living in a reality world. Well, I can do this, and this, and expect the same results. You can't expect change if you keep doing the same thing over and over.
That moment when, I guess the moment when you look in the mirror, when you open your heart up and you say, I'm done with this kind of life, okay, and I make that change. For me, I always tell people the hardest part of getting into the fitness center or into the gym where the environment is different is really there's a million reasons why not to, until you put that key in that car and boom, you go and just you're there. At that point, it's over. You make it happen. Tell me a little bit about the mindset that someone has to have regarding the beginning process and the challenges that they have to kind of supersede as for the mind, and because a lot of people don't talk about that. You deal with that every day.
Yeah, I don't think what's funny is that I think people don't understand that, like, when you make a change, you're ready for make a change. It's almost like everything around you tries to disrupt you and destruct you, and you think this isn't worth it. Only the best things in life come with I think not necessarily adversity, but just a positive attitude, perspective on things. Everything you think that is going to sabotage you, you can see it as a sabotage, or you can perceive it as just a way, hey, to go around you. If you got to take a detour and it's going to take 2 minutes extra, just take the detour and take 2 minutes extra. Don't wrap yourself around it so much. Oh, well, the universe is against me and everybody hates me. If you keep taking that route, yeah, the universe is going to be against you, and you're going to think everybody's going to hate you for the rest of your life. But if you can just kind of like kick the bucket out of the way and be like, oh, I almost tripped on it, but just kicked it out of the way. Let me go forward and kind of take things kind of lightly and understand that, a flat tire is not that God or anybody else hates you. It's just a flat tire, you know.
Right.
It's just that's all it is. Your car breaking down is sometimes just your car breaking down, or just things that are out of your control. There's not so much thought that you have to put into it. You just kind of have to keep moving forward and progressing. I know it sounds kind of like, oh, it's easy for you to say. No, it's not easy for me to say, because I deal with that on a daily basis myself, behind the curtains of understanding that whether I want to smile or don't, I have a job to do of motivating and helping people as best as I can. So once that 5 a.m. hits, I got to put all my emotions aside and do what I have to do as best as I can for that day, because people depend on me. So no, it's not the easiest thing for me, but the best thing for me to do is keep progressing forward, keep moving forward, because if I stay where I'm at, I will never make any progress forward, plain and simple.
To that point, Daniel, I have always told my patients, when you're going to do a change in your life, do it. Just do it. Just do it. Push through your ideas. And there's a school of thought that says, hey, you shouldn't tell people what you're going to do. Just do it. I like that school of thought, because sometimes when you tell people certain things, it kind of someone out there will get in the way to give you a vulnerability or expose a place or a crack where you'll delay what you do. So I tell people, just do it. It seems kind of crazy, but just do it. Go and make it happen.
Right.
And I know sometimes when those people call, it's almost they've got an inspiration at that moment, and I want them to know that this place is ready to hold them. We're ready to talk to them. We're ready to share with them the process of changing. And that's a really cool thing. What kind of minds do people have to have in terms of being able to have the resilience and the push through in this process?
You just have to have a willing mind. I think a lot of people think you have to have a strong, perfect mind, no negativity, only positive, things like that. Bluntly to say, positive crap doesn't always work.
Okay.
You got to be consciously aware that you have to have a willing mind more than a positive mind. Sometimes you have to say, this sucks. Like, this sucks. It just sucks. It's in the sense of like where we pray to God when we need something. When He doesn't answer, we just ask. But wouldn't you rather have a friend that tells you, it's like, dude, like, I'm just asking to help me out, man, as opposed to a friend that only comes around when he needs something or when things are good? Like, that would suck. Would you be my friend if I'm only talking to you when I'm in a good mood? No. You wouldn't, right? You don't want to tell me, hey, you know what, God, like, damn, dog, like, I need some fucking help, man. Can you help me out a little bit?
Right.
Yeah. You know what? Fuck, let's do it together. But as opposed to a person like, he goes around the corner, cowers down, and like, pops up his head, when things are good. It doesn't work that way. Like, get in my face a little bit. And the thing is, the willingness to move forward is to me is a lot stronger than just a strong mind that says it never has any negative thoughts.
I got to agree with you. I can tell you that a lot of people don't talk about the mindsets. Those people that have a positive mindset, and I'll give you an example of a positive mindset versus one that's kind of interesting. Those people live longer. They also have positive things happen to them more often.
Right.
I sometimes have people come into my office and they're bent out of. They're really in a lot of pain. And there's some that you could see they're like, what I remember is Mr. Snuffleupagus and Sesame Street. Oh dear, oh my. And I see the husband, oh dear. And I'm going, Jesus, man, this is very intense. And then I got some people that are just in horrible pain. And I go, oh man, look, what's going on? And he goes, and I go, ooh, this is pretty bad. And they respond with a smile and they go, yeah, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? They go, right? I messed up, huh? And somehow I feel that those patients with like that, yeah, I messed up, but I'm here, right?
Yeah.
They really do well. They have the okayness with it, not to be so hard on themselves. Because I find that I go, you said, yeah, right, Doc? I'm messed up, huh?
Yeah, I know.
I go, yeah, you are messed up. And I'm like, okay, look at the bones broken. Yeah, right, look at that. What are we going to do about it, right? And those people are the ones that actually somehow the ethos, God, as it aligns everything for you, pushes the things to allow you to heal properly, and opens people and attracts the people to you to help you in the next journey of your life.
Right, exactly.
So, the mindset is got to be a thing. I noticed that sometimes some people realize, and we're being open as we can here. We realize that the number one thing that will determine your ability to gain weight or not gain weight is predestined in a genetic code, and many times it is, and sometimes it's environmental. But in terms of that, sometimes the family's involved. When you deal with families that are involved in the weight loss process, how do you incorporate it, and how do you prepare the individual to understand the importance of or not of the family?
Well, I mean, I think that varies from person to person and family is because some families, they don't have the support from their significant others, and unfortunately, there's got to be a way that no matter what you hear, you got to keep moving forward with respect to the other person, obviously. But I think the more direct you are in moving forward, that your goals are going to be altered or anything like that, I think people will follow and will see that you have something good going for you, and they want to be a part of something that can and will that will be moving forward. And in that, I think you'll create enough new road where people will start following and driving through. But you can't revert back. It's like if you like Girl Scout cookies, you like mints, and I like the lemon heads, right? Or what do they call it? The lemon?
Yeah, I hate those.
Yeah.
I hate them because I love them so much.
Yeah, no, me too.
I find myself, who ate these things? And the wrapper's in my hand.
Yeah. Yeah, instead of me trying to convince you to eat lemon heads with me, I'm going to just eat my lemon heads and not say anything. And if you choose to come over here and see because you look good, then you will. Or you'll just leave me alone and we'll eat together.
Yeah.
A big difference, you know what I mean?
The family sometimes gets in the way. I mean, I got to tell you, family gets in the way. My daughter, she looks at me like the village idiot, right? So, Dad, you don't know nuts about nutrition. And I'm like, whatever.
Yeah, of course, I know.
But Danny says something, and, all of a sudden she's, well, you shouldn't eat that. I'm like, I've been saying that since the beginning of time. Because family sometimes sabotages. And as much as we want to believe it, it's always there. In certain situations, you just have to do it on your own. Just get it done and make it happen. Because sometimes, you know what, it's the family that sits there looking in front of you. And if they're not involved in the weight loss program, then what happens is sometimes they're the ones with the Cheetos and the salsa that you love. And they're going, hey, come on, sit down.
Yeah, exactly. But you have to make a conscious choice of saying, all right, I will choose to be like them, or they will choose to be like me.
Yes.
You don't have to go do drastic. I have to go get out of the house and I have to go over here, and you don't have to make those drastic changes. You just have to be consciously aware. Look, you're either going to be like me or I'm going to be like you. It's one or the other.
Right.
So who's going to be the strongest one and the healthiest one? And that's where you set that stage. And I think it's a positive role model. I mean, it's not negative, right?
No. And I think that to the extent of which you can create your solidity and your thought process that I'm going to change my life, then those that love you will say, you know what, I'm going to support you. And then they understand that when they go shopping, food choices have to be different. Right. And then it works together.
Yeah, exactly.
But it has to be a solid decision, because once you're solid, then you're the anchor that the kites can hang on to. Because otherwise, if you're wishy-washy, well, then you'll be eating the tacos and the salsa and the things that you should eat at the late evening hours, like everybody else. Yeah.
But I think with that family dynamic, it comes with respect and support for each other. If you like mountain biking, but I don't, but I never try mountain biking. That's that's kind of dismissing what you like and only liking what I like. That's still that's unrespectful. You know what I mean? So finding that balance on how to bring together in each other's interests and hobbies, I think that's crucial in any family dynamic.
You mentioned there's always that word. There's a new word. It's called detoxification in your life. But we've kind of come to use a new word, biotransformation and detox. This is a biotransformation of the human soul and the body, huh? Right. As you transform, you detox it and you biotransform your life, right? Mm-hmm. So when you transcend that reality, you have to decide on certain goals that you have to do. How do you talk to people regarding kind of like how to set the goals and how do you help them in that process? How does it work? Because I know how you did to me. You got me looking good. So.
Well, I think you have to give them measurable goals and attainable goals. If you tell them, oh, guy, you got to lose 100 pounds. Well, yeah, no shit, I got to lose 100 pounds. But how do we start?
No shit. No shit.
We start with all right, cool. Let's start every Monday. We're gonna weigh you in. The goal is to lose 1 pound. 1 pound. All right. Well, see that's attainable. It's motivating. But if I tell you to do 20 pounds, first of all, it's unhealthy. Second of all, that's not very long lasting because a lot of it's water weight. That's why all these gimmicks work. Anybody can lose 8 to 14 pounds in 14 days because it's water. Each carb retains about 0.75. I think it's 0.75 ounces of water. So if you eliminate all the carbs, guess what? You just lost 8 to 10 pounds in a span of 10 days. It's not rocket science. It's just simple physiology. That's where the body works. But a lot of people get caught up in all these gimmicks. But after that, then people get discouraged because they don't see any weight loss after. And the reason being is because once their water weight is because that's when the real work comes in. And so you got to tell people the blunt and truth and reality of it. For longevity and health attainable reasons, 1 to 3 pounds every week is attainable. If you lose more, great. If you lose less than a pound, then we got to reassess some things. But 1 to 3 is consistent. Small, consistent, discipline habits on a daily basis for a long period of time will give you those desired results. But if you're looking for that quick fix, like everybody looking to get quick rich tomorrow, it's very short-lived, and you're going to be disappointed and discouraged every single time.
To your point of the weight loss, the sudden weight loss, the physiology behind that is very well known. It's insulin is the source of water retention. Insulin requires glucose. When glucose stimulates, insulin pops. And when insulin pops, what happens is it rises, attempting to lower the blood sugar. So when you eat a lot of carbs, insulin pops, and it forces the kidneys to hold sodium. Sodium, as we know, holds water. And when sodium holds water, that's what happens. Now,
Right.
A lot of people do the fasting diets or the real quick diets. They start to stop the carbohydrates. The carbohydrates diminish the insulin. The insulin releases the sodium, and the water just comes off, right? So many times you can see the effects, but what we're talking about is long-term stuff. The stuff that when you got to dig in, when your body starts playing hormonal games with you and it holds, the psychology regarding the weight retention and weight loss, that requires a mind and a set of goals that are firm. How do you tell people, how do you share people, just, we hit a wall, you lost the 8 pounds, now it's on, okay? Now it's on. Now we're going to do it. At that point, what's the psychology behind it that we help them here, and then what do we do here?
On a daily basis, texting them, talking to them, 1, 2, 3 times a day. On the weekends when you don't see them.
Do you do that, Danny? You talk to the people? You text them back?
I mean, I try as best as I can. I wish I could do it all day long. I don't have time, and I have to be, conservative of, my family time, my personal time as well, and give that respect to, to my significant other. But as best as I can, I try to help people as much as I can, even in and out of the office.
Truth be said, you always answer, dude. You always answer. You always answer, no matter. I mean, ever since I've had any of my clients call you, you're on. So it may be in the rare situation, but I know you do. So that is very important. Let me ask you, longevity issues. You mentioned weight loss and how it is kind of linked to longevity. What does that mean?
Well, I mean, the longer you keep it damaging, like your way your body uptakes insulin, the longer or the more a reason you're gonna have to be insulin dependent, diabetic, diabetes 1, diabetes 2, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, heart attacks, things like that. What a lot of people don't understand is say people eat low fat and the still regular like vegan foods. A lot of people don't account for the high carbohydrate intake and things like that. So if you don't account for that, your body regardless will turn that to fat. You know what I mean? And then if you eat so you're still prone for diabetes and heart attack. So you're on vegan, but you're seeing all these carbs, but you say you're internally healthy, but your external doesn't show it. That doesn't coincide, doesn't make sense, and so you got to find a relative balance. Otherwise, you're gonna keep hitting the wall. So these new things of as far as plant-based things like that are very good as long as they're done in moderation and you're measuring your waste on a daily basis. Because if you don't, I mean, you're still internally at risk for so many health and adverse conditions that your body can't physically tell. So the next thing is if you go high fat and then all these high saturated trans fatty acids, no carbs, you're still at a high risk of heart disease. So you ask me, okay, so what do? You got to find a balance that works for your physical type, and you have to keep adjusting, just like with everything else, as far as your daily life, your daily work, your uptake of the house, the way you clean your yard. Everything changes because over time, the whole environment, all of us around us change. Nothing stays the same. We evolve, so we have to adapt. So your adaptability to be better for the long term has to be on a daily and weekly basis of how you see yourself and your physical lifestyle.
Danny, what we're doing here is it seems like we're having a conversation regarding weight loss, but we're really having a conversation of saving lives.
Right.
This is a saving lives session because at one point, what you've described, you said high triglycerides, high trans fats, you said belly fat, okay,
Yeah.
high blood pressure, high blood glucose, and then the waist measurement, right?
Mhm.
Well, if you have just high blood pressure, pre-diabetes or diabetic levels of blood glucose or what they call glucose, usually the A1C is at 5.6 or above. You know, you are just having 3 of what I've just said, this 5, you are what they call metabolic syndrome. And when we're seeing people here in metabolic syndrome, the fastest way to get them back is through diet and activities.
Right.
And that's what we're doing, saving people's lives, because you could have a stroke, a heart attack. You know, what do you do when people work out for a couple of weeks and they kind of sense it? How do they feel?
I feel great. A lot more energy. They can sleep better. They can breathe better. They're in better moods. Their endorphins are high. All around, just their overall improvement, self-well-being is improved. So if everybody can see more of that as opposed to just seeing the harder aspect and, oh man, I have such a long way to go, and just focus on just like the now, that would allow them, I think, to achieve their goals a lot more readily.
Yeah, you know what? I got to tell you, we're gonna go deep into this week by week. I want you guys to know that we're going to be discussing a different topic, and this weight loss topic is a real deep one. We're going to go and break it down in a much more analytical way because we're going to save people's lives. El Paso suffers from, some of the misnomers. Even in the early '90s, I remember it being called the fattest, sweatiest town in the United States. And if you want to look it up, look fattest, sweatiest town in El Paso, and look it up on the internet, and you'll find it when they actually reported it. The government actually pointed to El Paso as one of the unhealthiest town. We don't have that issue anymore because we have a lot of gyms and a lot of fitness going on, but we still have remnants of it. And if we can save people's lives, we're going to save our prodigies, our children's lives. They're going to be better. If there's one thing that we can give our kids is a great example of what we can do for ourselves. And that, in essence, helps perpetuate future generations of healthy people.
Right.
I got to tell you, I'm very proud of being part of this whole dynamics, and I look forward to it. Any other points that you want to let people know before we close out for today?
No, other than just decide to make a change. It doesn't have to be a big change. You could just make a small change. One little small change can change your life.
Big changes. God bless, guys. And we wish you the best, too, okay? So we got to... And we look good to be live, and we are closing. Thank you.